days of the week are, even though I'm living them one by one. Anyway, what am I yammering on today about? Well, all of us truckers out here who work with brokers in any capacity, or who have any sort of contact with brokers, shippers, customers, you name it, in a capacity that is involved with booking a load, we all know or have learned at some point that brokers lie. Whether that's by omission or ignorance, or by happenstance, we just know they lie. It is what it is. But every now and again, sometimes when a broker lies, it actually ends up being in your favor, because it typically tends to be out of ignorance rather than anything sort of malicious. Let me tell you what I'm talking about here. Over the last couple of years, well, 2.5 since I became an owner-operator, I have done a lot of loads that have been involved with some sort of packaging for a finished product, okay? Whether that's a food-grade packaging or, a non-perishable goods packaging, or glassware packaging, like did a load of Jack Daniels bottles from a glass manufacturer down to the Jack Daniels headquarters. That was a fun load. Whenever I'm doing a load of packaging material, whether it's a food grade container or a non-perishable container or whatever it is, with the exception of that Jack Daniels load, that Jack Daniels glass bottle load, more often than not, or maybe even as close to 100% of the time, whenever I've been told the estimated weight or the expected weight of the load in the trailer, it's always been wrong. And it's always been wrong in my favor. What I mean by that is, with this load especially, I've got a load of food grade packaging that's going to the Hershey plant, one of the Hershey plants in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Okay, this is going to be a fun load. I'm honestly excited to go to Hershey because I've never been to Hershey. I like Hershey chocolate. Who doesn't? And so I'm looking forward to it, because Hershey's steeped in history with the Hershey chocolate brand. Whatever your feelings are on the politics of Hershey, that's your business. I don't care. Their products, I like them. I will continue to consume them because they're delicious. So I'm excited to go to the heart and the soul of Hershey chocolate. It's going to be fun. But the broker on this load, now, in their defense, I will say this, because I've been told this by brokers in the past whenever I've been talking to them about the weight of their loads. And I said, yeah, you guys told me it was going to be, 42,000 pounds, and the load weighs 15,000. And what I'm talking about here is that the broker on this load told me the load was going to be 40,000 pounds of food-grade packaging. Now, automatically, I knew that number was not going to be correct, and I had a feeling it was going to be significantly less than, even if my trailer was all the way full. And sure enough, I was correct, because the broker said 40,000 pounds. The load weighs maybe 10,000. The official weight on the bill of lading is about 9,500 pounds altogether, which I am excited as all get out about, because I'm going up the spine of the Appalachians, essentially, and being 10,000 pounds in the trailer means, A, I don't have to go through a CAT scale and pay their now higher price to scale the truck, and B, it's going to be a lot easier going up and down those grades. So I love it, honestly, whenever I get a packaging material load and the broker quotes me a weight and they end up being vastly mistaken. It is always so much fun. It is the one time where a broker does not correctly inform me of a load situation where I do not complain in any capacity, because I literally consider it to be a bank error in my favor, because I'm going to burn way less fuel on this load than I thought I would, and I'm going to be able to maintain a much greater efficiency through the entire length of the trip, and I'm also going to have a much easier time up and down the grades mountains on Interstate 81. So it's just nothing about this load is a loss. Everything about this load is a win. And I will never not be amused when I get a packaging material load and the broker tells me, yeah, it's 40,000 pounds and it ends up being, 8,000 pounds. It's always, always, always fun. Now, to tie back into the point I was about to make earlier before I told you guys what the weight was on this load, what the broker told me they expected it to be. The reason that I've been told that brokers will, sometimes what seems like arbitrarily pick a number for a weight on a load is because A, they are required to actually specify this load is expected to weigh this number. It's expected to have this much weight. This is the expectation of the load's volume or weight in your truck, okay? Whether that's 15,000 pounds, 40,000 pounds, whatever. Now, the brokers aren't always told line item by line item what a load is going to weigh, because in the defense of brokers, with packaging material, if they're not told an actual weight by the customer, by the shipper, by anyone involved with the actual material itself, they may not, or they are not correctly informed on the weight of the load, but they still have to put a weight on it. So what they do is they overestimate the weight, because if they put 40,000 pounds down and the load ends up being 42,000 pounds or 35,000 pounds, they're in a sweet spot because, it ended up being 2,000 pounds heavier than expected, but it's still well within the maximum tolerance of 80,000 pounds gross vehicle weight for a standard North American semi-truck. Okay, no problem. It ends up being 35,000 pounds. Okay, well, they overestimated the weight a little bit. Bank error in the trucking company's favor. They now burn less fuel, more efficient, easier on grades, yada, yada, yada. But in this case, when it's literally they overestimated by 4 times the actual weight of the load, it's one of those things where, out of politeness to the brokers, I just give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they were not told the weight. But because they have to put a weight out there, they pick a heavy weight because they would rather be overestimating the weight and be wrong than underestimating the weight and be wrong. And then suddenly there's issues now with the truck making a legal weight, or the trucking company now pitching a holy fit about being lied to by the brokers. So we can forgive them 2,000 pounds because you're still going to be underweight for the 80,000 pounds gross, but it's a lot harder for us to forgive. They said, oh yeah, it's going to be a 15,000 pound load, ends up being 35,000 pounds. That's a much bigger difference, and that's where you go back and say, hey guys, you lied to us, it's actually heavier. We need to renegotiate this rate because we based it upon you telling us it's 15,000 pounds, it's actually 35,000 pounds. You need to pay us a little more money because we're going to burn a lot more fuel on this load. So anyway, that's my fun with food grade packaging. I love getting these kinds of loads because they're always, the weight that I'm told is usually always an overestimation, and it's always fun for me to get those loads. So I enjoy it. The other side of that coin is every now and again, when I'm doing like paper rolls of food grade material, it's going to end up being food grade material. When they say it's going to be 40,000 pounds, it's usually 40,000 pounds because paper rolls, they're no joke. And they're usually weighed out exactly because they have to measure those things out in terms of the actual feet of paper per roll, and that has a guaranteed weight depending on the grade of the paper material. So that weight's going to be a lot more accurate. But when it comes to empty box packaging, I love being told it's going to be 40,000 pounds because I know it's going to be at least 10,000 pounds less than that most of the time. Anyway, YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having a great Sunday, this sunny Sunday morning. And I will see you down the road. Take it easy.